Hi everybody, welcome back to Beth Unboxes. Today we are going to make a recipe that was our mom's. This is going to be a chicken fruit curry. I'm excited to share a family recipe with you guys and I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Let's check it out. The ingredients for this is going to be cubed chicken, apples, raisins, pineapple, curry powder of different kinds. Okay, so this is a recipe our mom came up with, and I didn't think anybody in the world had a recipe like this or a dish like this except our family. But we went to an Asian restaurant in town some years ago, and they have a dish that I think they call pineapple curry or chicken curry, and it's almost exactly like the one Mom made. So this is a really versatile dish. You can do it different ways. You can make it to your taste. I don't have a recipe written down. It's just kind of putting stuff in a pan. So the first thing we're going to do is oil our pan. I'm just using avocado oil. You can use any kind of oil that you want. The fun thing about this recipe is our parents met, they both lived in Florida, South Carolina as kids, and they met in Florida. But after they got married, they moved to New York for a while. So late 60s, early 70s, New York is where our mom really got a taste for international foods and things that were just different and exciting, and she was always a really food adventurous person. So she was always the one to come up with new things or want to try new things. And as far as we know, she came up with this recipe all by herself.
Well, our guess is that she probably had curry in New York and then created her own recipe from the food she experienced.
Yeah, I'm sure she tried, like Krista says, she had dishes that
they lived in a multicultural neighborhood
Yes.
in New York, and they had street parties and stuff they would talk about. So we're very grateful she got exposed to a lot of different cultures and foods and things that we got to grow up on in other states that didn't really have these types of restaurants or foods, and things that really helped us learn to love international foods.
Didn't get my skillet quite hot enough. It should sizzle a little bit more than this. But while it's cooking, I'm going to put some curry powder on it. I have my rice done. I put it in the rice cooker. The last time I did a rice dish, I rinsed it through a colander. This time I just rinsed it in the pan. I put in water, pour it out, put in water, pour it out till it's kind of clearer. It just helps the rice not be gummy, which I do not like gummy rice. I have two kinds of curry. I have a regular curry powder, and I have this one I think I got from Costco or something.
No, you got an Asian market.
I got it. That's right. We went to an Asian market and I found this. And it says mild.
But it's not.
But that's an indication that it has a spice level. It's a mild spice level, but I can't make the dish entirely with this because not everybody in the family likes the spice. So I primarily use this one. It doesn't have to be this brand, just a grocery store curry. And I'm gonna guess this right here is a little over a teaspoon so far. This though, you can make it to the amount of spice, the amount of curry, the amount of all these ingredients that you like. It's a really two-taste recipe. I like mine heavy on the curry. I love the smell of curry. I love the taste of curry. We are a curry-loving family.
Yes, we love curry.
So I like it heavy on the curry. But the great thing about this, unless you're using a curry that's heat, this is a completely sweet and savory dish. There's no heat in this with a normal curry. So curry powder, I'm going to salt this some. Salt in here just so the chicken's got some flavor. You kind of salt this as you go. I don't always salt my rice. I sometimes salt it when I'm doing this, but I don't always. It just depends on my mood on that day.
Yeah, and the sauce really flavors the rice, and sometimes we put curry in the rice too, but sometimes we leave it plain. It just depends.
This time I left it plain because I'm going to go heavy on the curry in here. You want to put in your curry and spices early in the dish because you do want it to have a good color and a good flavor, and I need a lot more. I'm going to say probably this entire dish, the way I make it, is at least a tablespoon of curry powder.
And then we add a little bit of the other ones that adds a bit more warmth to it that we like. Our dad is the kind of...
We go easy on the spice with our dad, but I made it one time with this entirely, just this curry powder, and did not realize it was a spicy one. And we ate it. It was not our favorite, but it worked. It was still good.
And the smell of the house is so wonderful while this is cooking.
So I'm going to cook up the rest of this chicken, and I'll come back in just a minute and show you the rest of the stuff we're going to put in it. Okay, so the chicken's almost cooked through. It's probably about halfway done, but this is going to cook a lot more in the skillet. And this is about 2.5 pounds of chicken breast. You can use chicken thighs. I've used a rotisserie chicken in a pinch sometimes. It really doesn't matter whatever kind of chicken you like. Honestly, I would like this dish with just the rest of it, and you could make it vegetarian and leave the chicken out altogether, and it would still be delicious. So at this point, we're going to add the fruit. Now the fruit we add is based on how Mom made it and how it's kind of evolved over the years. It's always should have apples. We like it with apples and raisins. We started adding pineapple as well. Typically, I'll add some apple juice to it as it cooks like this, but we don't have any. But my pineapple has some juice in it.
This was fresh pineapple that we froze up after cutting it,
Yeah.
and it thawed out with some juices in it.
So if you're using canned pineapple, I would say maybe most of a can of pineapple chunks and use the juice because it's really gonna help. So this was about 3.5 medium-sized apples. I say 3.5 because I munched while I cut, it was good. Again, it does not matter what kind of apples you wanna use, whatever your favorite kind is. I don't even remember what kind this was.
Just what we had left in the house still.
I'm gonna eyeball this and see. I may not use all the apples. I may have cut up too many. No, I'm gonna use them all. I like it fruity. And we make this family size. You can definitely use however much chicken and however much fruit you want to use because, again, this is a to-your taste recipe. If Krista will come in, let me show you the color of the chicken. We're shooting more for a yellowy color than really a measurement of curry. And you can add more later. You definitely want to add it while you're cooking it because you don't want that raw powder. The next thing we have is some raisins. This is about a cup. Again, however many feels right. We had to switch phones kind of midstream. Mine it didn't conk out, it maxed out. We couldn't record anymore on it. We were in the middle of the raisins. So again, this is about a cup of raisins. I'm not sure when it maxed out, but it's more about how you like it, how many raisins you like. Krista was saying how it kind of helps balance out if the apples are a little on the sour side or the pineapple's not sweet. This definitely leans to sweet in this recipe for sure.
But it's still savory, so it's like you get savory, you get a little bit of tartness.
With the rice, I can either mix it all together when I'm done cooking it or put it on top of the rice. Just kind of depends. So this needs some more juice than what the pineapple gave it. And I said earlier we didn't have apple juice, but Krista reminded me we had some stuck in the pantry. So I'll probably use this whole little thing.
Yeah,
but
it makes it a nice liquid sauce to go with the rice and help just give it a little bit more moisture.
Yeah, it needs the moisture in it, especially because you, like Krista said, you're mixing it with the rice. And it gives it it won't cook dry. It'll stay moist while it's cooking. And
it just gives another level of apple with that.
I'm going to get Krista to come in and show kind of what the level of moisture, the liquid level in here is. This is a really big skillet, but you definitely want to be able to see the liquid through it.
It's going to cook down a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what you want to have it in there. In the fruit, the apples will cook down and add some more sweetness to it. But at this point, I'm going to cover it and let it cook really until the chicken's done and the apples are soft. And that's just how long it takes it to cook. So however long that is when I'll be back. You can check it, you can stir it, make sure it's not cooking away. I've got it on a medium high heat. I'll probably turn it down to medium for this part because I'm gonna walk away and I don't wanna come back to a scorched, weird thing. So we'll come back when it's done and show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's probably been 20 minutes-ish. And I did come back in and taste it and it needed some more salt, so I've added some more salt. Also a little bit more curry because I know when I add the rice it's gonna kind of blend out the flavor, so I wanted to go ahead and get enough in there. So this is the color it should be. I also turned it down to like medium low, not quite all the way down, but most of the way down. It needs to boil, but it was over boiling, so I wanted to turn it down. So it's ready to taste. This time I'm gonna put it over my rice. Normally, like I said, sometimes I'll put it over, sometimes I will mix it all together. So I'm gonna get some of everything. Got some chicken, got some apple, gonna get some of those raisins, make sure I get some pineapple in here. I do have pineapple, there we go. And I want some of this juice. You can, if you're gonna serve it over rice, you can thicken it or you can just drizzle it over. If you thicken it, I would use cornstarch. Okay, so I've got it all in here, dribble down the side. So it is super hot. You definitely wanna let it cool off. It's still boiling. I should turn it off. But you got all your good stuff in here. So I'm gonna get raisins, chicken, a little bit of apple, and that's my bite. It's really hot. This is really, really good. It's got a little bit of heat from that mild curry, but it's got most of the flavor just from the plain curry that's not spicy. Got a little bit of sweet. It's definitely not a sweet dish. It definitely is a savory dish, but you have a little bit of the fruit in there to give you that a little bit of sweet when you get a bite. I know we did the chicken on the rice, but I went ahead and mixed the rice in with the rest, and I'm going to show you what that looks like as well. So it mixes in really great. All the sauces get all over the rice, and it makes an amazing dish. But this is delicious. This is one of our family favorites. I hope it becomes yours too. Thanks for joining us on Beth Unboxes, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.